Courage, vision, resilience. It's more than just a journey. It's a universe of endless possibility, where a single idea can change a man's life, creating new worlds from the ground up. I am Ricky. I am your guide through the epic stories of Web3 pioneers. Join me and enjoy the podcast. The Tales of Web3.
GM. Hello everyone. This is Ricky. We are recording the Tales of Web3, Season 1, Episode 5, with my one and only big bro in this industry, Georgi. Hello, Georgi. How are you?
Hello, my little beautiful brother. It's so great to see you, my little beautiful brother.
How's life? How's everything? How's NYC?
You know, whenever I wear this t-shirt, Hinkal, life is different. Right? It's like Batman outfit. So I just wear it on and then I feel that I have to do things, right? And I have to change things. And SBC is one of the places where you change things. So life is great.
It is. You had a great presentation yesterday at the BAS conference. I think people like it.
Yeah, I do. I received good feedback from people also sharing with other people that there's an interesting project. So I think that's what you want to hear to move to the next phase and to create some buzz. So yeah, I think we are on the way.
Awesome. Let's jump into it. I have prepared some interesting questions that I would love to learn more about. I want the world to know about you personally as a founder. Right, so you got a quite interesting journey, right? You have 10 years of your career being a professional athlete. You jump into, finance world. You go to Stanford for an MBA, and you become a founder in Web3, right? Raise great capital, doing great things in the privacy space right now. How did Web3 find you, or you find Web3 in the first place?
I think Web3 found me through Silicon Valley. 98% people doing Web3 at Stanford, and I was just one of them. And I think some people just stay in the industry because they got lucky and figured out something interesting. So, for example, in 2021, I would say maybe 95% of all startups at Stanford became crypto startups, and you probably know this. Um,
But I don't think it's 95%. That's a lot.
I mean, almost all of them became crypto startups. Even if you go to Lean Startup or Startup Garage, other classes, you would see that everyone is doing crypto and suddenly, connecting their Web2 startups to crypto. And we were one of the startups. And back then, I just started Silicon Valley Icons. So I was receiving feedback from like our community members. Georgie, why wouldn't you add tokens to your protocol? This can increase engagements because tokens are just this mechanism that can increase engagement for anything. And yeah, I just followed one of the advices and suddenly realized that we are building in crypto.
That's cool. Speaking of SV icons, I also because I've been attending a lot of the dinners. I even hosted one with Mr. Yacht right back in 2023. What is your motivation back there? It's a greater community, right? Back in the Bay, right now expanding to NYC. like you definitely put a lot of effort into it, right? Like looking for great people, startup founders, investors. Like it doesn't definitely have to put a lot of energy and effort into it. Like, what is your motivation from there, and then even your motivation as a founder, everything you're doing
So,
right now?
initially it was a failed up because I was doing social up and I had to push people to open the app. And I never thought that it's so hard to push people to open the app and download iOS I was building the app and I never realized that it's almost impossible with, hundreds of app right now, right? So it's just near to impossible. And then I had to somehow figure this out. So I was like, okay, let me, what Stanford like, and then my thinking was, um, what does Stanford people like? And then I realized, okay, they like importance. They like famous people, and we have them all here. So I was like, let me organize first events with our GSB professors. And GSB professors, a lot of them are super outstanding, right? Our first dinner was Jeff Immelt,
Yeah.
second dinner with Scott Kapoor. And then I realized, okay, people are opening, right? So now we can increase engagement and try to figure out things. The app idea never worked, so we shut it down, but the community was created, and I think
Is
the
it
next goal is
was it the sport betting app?
no, it was the second one. It was
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
community. It was the app around closed net communities where you can express what you want to do, and there's default trust, so people can join you, and you can create teams, startup, co-founders, friends. You can find friends, girlfriend, or whatever, right? But closed net community, default trust. That was kind of original idea and inspiration. And then what I realized after that this actually that the community was there, right? And that actually I created something that people wanted, even though it wasn't the app. And that was a great realization because now, when I was raising the next round, right, I was raising right after FTX crash for Hinkal. This community was one of the crucial factors for me because suddenly I realized that everyone at Stanford wants to help me, right? There were Georgi, think about this. This is a feedback. Here's like top five pieces I would like you to connect. And suddenly, I even felt that I'm just on the shoulders of like all Stanford giants, right? And just
That's
flowing,
awesome.
and they're supporting me. So it was, yeah, an amazing moment.
That's cool. That's cool. What do you think is the greatest edge you have as a founder?
I think I can easily connect with people. That's first, right? I think I'm good in conceptual thinking, in where this can be and what needs to be done for this to happen in a complex manners, right? Like in kind of frameworks, right? And different inflection points. So I think that's probably two major. And third, I would say I kind of I can feel people pretty well. I think it comes from a lot of experience, right? With different people from different nations. So probably this three.
Give me an example of how you are able to execute complex thinkings into something that is really beneficial for SV icons, Hinkal, the fundraise, anything.
Yeah, for we can start with SV Icons, right? SV Icons is non-profit, and it's kind of like and everyone was actually saying, Georgie, why don't you start earning money on that? Blah blah blah. Like very short-term thinking ideas were coming from some of my friends. Um, but I believe that if you provide significant value to people surrounding you, and then to people who are actually available in the ecosystem, no matter like they will feel some kind of a sense of support, and they will help you like in your next journey, like in the 10, 20 years horizon. So I think that's, and it also applies to the speakers we had, right? So I never tried to monetize, and moreover, after I had 85 dinners hosted by myself, I thought, okay, the community was there, right? But how can, you are probably mm, like average of your friends, right? I think people like thinking this. So after I hosted 85 dinners, I thought, okay, how can I continue creating value for this, right? And make sure that, this is still a valuable community and always grow sustainably. So I basically um, passed hosting to other people, to my friends who were early members in the community, and they became hosts. And then they had, they felt powerful, and all of our hosts actually raised money or became investors. So now hosts are kind of powerful community of icons, and they all grow. And we have 8 hosts now, including New York host, that feels super, um, that are who are super interested to host speakers, right? And they grow personally, and and the community is there. So I think that was one of them, right? Like how to make sure you don't really focus on yourself and just make people powerful that who are surrounding you, and this also makes you kind of benefit from it, because ultimately it's your common success. And for Hinko, like I think I also have pretty long term thinking on privacy, right? When we started here, thinking about privacy on chain, we already hosted a lot of people for SV icons from crypto, and we had several realizations that so much money is focused in crypto, right? And kind of allocate the crypto with the premise that it crypto will substitute the financial rails, and it makes total sense, right, to substitute. It's just a matter of time when the old system becomes redundant, and like first governments, right, who will have enough courage to really say, okay,
Start a new
let's
system.
run, yeah, to start a new system. So with this conviction in mind, right, we start thinking, okay, like we have to find first customers right after we raise, and we have to make sure we have enough, resources, traction, and people to get there, right, as long as it takes. And with this mind, we were pretty, you know, convinced, and we didn't have any worries that we should pivot or anything. While you see that in privacy, like 9 out of 10 startups pivots, right? When I started in privacy, it's just 2 years, right? And
Yeah.
like during this experience, like all my competitors that we start with, like 9 out of 10, 90% already died or pivoted. So because they no longer believed in crypto.
Or privacy.
Oh yeah, yeah, sorry, not in crypto, but mostly in privacy. Yes.
Exactly. I read about a theory before, like if you are here building a startup, like in the end, the ultimate game is just you live longer than all your competitors, and then success come and find you. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Um,
My
Give
little
me one story.
it's philosophy.
Yeah. Give me one story of you of Hinkle that you think you haven't told anywhere in the public before. Epic story, a story full of twist, risk taking, right? Your darkest moment, how you overcome it,
Yeah,
anything.
I think actually like first moments of Hinkal when we just started were the hardest ones, right? Because first, we were coming from, we raised some angel checks, like total 300K while I was at Stanford. And also I was at Stanford for 3.5 years, and one of the reasons why I spent so much time, because we were trying to figure out startup, right? And what works, what's not. So ultimately, we had this 300K, and we were paying to engineers and other people, right, to ideate, pivot. Um, and then it was November like 2022 when we should start raising Hinkal. It's for Hinkal. It's still a concept, right? We are new in crypto, so and then we had just 3 months runaway left, and my
Oh,
brother
yeah,
just
200K, right?
arrived.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and my brother just arrived to the U.S. Right? So, and he was like with O1 visa, and this visa is tied to the employer. Um, and then it was okay. We have 3 months. We have to raise, and otherwise we run out of money. So, and then FTX is happening. So we received like first commitment from
That's terrible.
uh, one Asian fund, and then they withdrew the offer, the proposal, like after FTX happening, and then we realized that no one wants to talk. No VCs want to talk because of FTX, because they want to see where this contagion ends, right?
Yeah,
And
people are
then it
scared.
was, yeah, and we were super nervous because it was December already. We had no commitments, and we were just like maximizing like all connections that I ever had in my life, right? But suddenly, there are tens of, every day we had like at least 5, 7 meetings with VCs in December in crypto, right? When no one wanted to meet. But also it was, I think, great opportunity for us because no other startups were pitching to these VCs, right? It was like
Yes.
mostly us because they understood that they want to raise money. And then I think end of December we received commitment from Draper, and then in February we raised, and finally so we continued salary, right? And then we didn't default. Yeah, so that was probably the moment.
That's pretty cool. That's a moment of resilience, big
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, of survival, I would say.
Yes, I think that's pretty inspiring. It is. So what are things people should be really, really look out for Hinkle 2024, 2025? What is the biggest thing that people should be excited for on the roadmap?
I'm super excited about anonymity staking. That's first. And
Unlimited staking?
no, anonymity staking.
Anonymous. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think it's very, very interesting concept because the whole crypto runs around yields, right, and new tokens, and how they can basically use these tokens in a broader ecosystem. And with anonymity staking, you have new type of asset class in crypto that provides privacy to all chains and all dApps, right? And represent the receipt tokens that they can use everywhere in DeFi, with five most liquid tokens such as ETH, staked ETH, USDC, USDT, and RAP BTC. So I'm super excited about this. Second, I'm super excited about cross-chain shared privacy framework because suddenly now we can uh, provide privacy in 120 L2s, hundreds of L1s, basically any L1 as well, even non-EVM ones, right? And that's
How exactly that works? I mean, shared privacy, like how that works.
so it works this way. If
I
you
mean, we should
have
we don't need to get technical, but like on high level, how that works.
yeah, so the major dependency for privacy is shielded pool, right? Like it's privacy dependent on the number of assets in the shielded pool. Otherwise, you won't have privacy.
Yes.
And the logic here, if there is 100 ETH on Ethereum, someone transacting 10 ETH has enough privacy because no one can understand who is transacting from this 100 ETH because Hinkle smart contract appears on chain instead of user wallet. And but if there is zero ETH in, let's say, Arbitrum shielded pool, users won't have privacy because it will be super easy to de-anonymize who deposited to shielded pool, and then and then smart contract appearing on chain, right? It's very easy to link, right? Who is actually did this transaction. So that's the logic. So more assets, higher privacy for everyone. So
Got it.
the issue with this is Now with tens, hundreds, right, of different chains, you have to create the shielded pools. And creation of shielded pools is inefficient way uh, to spend money, because initially when you don't have all applications connected with Hinkal, right, then you're just losing, and you're just wasting your money keeping them, right, and they're not accumulating value for you unless you transact with the dApps we already integrated. So with shared privacy framework, you can use shielded pool of Ethereum to provide privacy for other shielded pools without actually filling the shielded pools with assets. So that's a logic, right? And the logic is, if you breach,
Yes.
from Ethereum shielded pool to Arbitrum shielded pool, no one can understand who breached from this 100 users, right? So it's one of these 100 users. That's why, like every other chain, inherits probability set of original chain.
Oh, so that's how the shared privacy comes from.
Yeah. So shared privacy. You share privacy with all other chains. All other chains rent out privacy. Like Ethereum rents out privacy to all other chains, right? And rent and stakers share privacy with the users, right? So it's shared for both sides, for the liquidity provider side, but also from the chain standpoint.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing that. Before I let you go, one last question, right? So the market is really bad right now. A lot of people are getting lost. They don't know what they're fighting for anymore. What's your words for all these people out there that are a little bit confused about the future, don't know where the futures are, and what's their next steps are? What's the things that you wanted to share?
You mean from the suggestion standpoint?
Yeah, your personal side of things.
Like, what would I suggest them, right? That's a question.
Yeah, or basically, what's your thought about like us as an industry moving forward?
Yeah, we hosted Jeremy Allaire for SU Icons a couple weeks ago, and he shared like very uh, like good framework how to think long term. That he believes that everything will be on chain. We just need to wait a bit, have enough runaway, and have conviction, right, to share. So I think that's a framework for everyone else. I think there's that you touched base on people who also have uncertainty what they're building, and that's another question, right? So how much they believe that their verticals will be on chain in the next 3 to 5 years, because it's easy to believe that liquid assets will be there, and it's easy to believe that privacy will be needed, right, for everyone to transact, and it will become default state, and it's actually a disadvantage of blockchains. But yeah, so otherwise I would just attach to some long term like no brainer, right?
Visions.
Such as yeah, like no, right, privacy is no brainer, right? Assets move on chain. Do you need
Yeah,
privacy? Yes. Cross chain is no brainer. Chain abstraction is no brainer, right? Wallet abstraction, everything like this is no brainer, because ultimately it's okay. People don't need to fill wallets; they have to be default private, right? And they have to have like most liquid and needed things on chain, right? If your startup somehow touches this vision, you should be really comfortable in surviving in turmoils
yeah.
like this. But if you are building in something crazier, probably you have to think how sustainable it is, and how you should navigate this time.
Awesome. I think that has put us to an end. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, my little bro. You're amazing.
What's your thought about this podcast, though? Like, the setting, the way that is, like,
Did,
set it up.
did you finish? Did you stop recording?
No, no, probably will record this as well.
Yeah, I think podcast is so hard to ship. I tried myself, right, with Icons podcast. We have tens, hundreds of views for some of them, and I'm realizing that really achieving high quality podcast uh, just from Riverside is super complicated. So you need video editor, and I saw you have video editor
Yeah.
because you had this intro, right, which is cool. Uh, and probably distribution channels, like choosing right distribution channels. It seems that Twitter is rewarding videos now pretty well.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's a good one. Plus the format of 30 minutes, I really like it, right? Because it's not too long, and sometimes I cannot really watch Lex Friedman, and that's like
Yeah, it's too long. Same for me. Same for me.
yeah, some of them are like 8 hours, so 30 minutes is great. So as long as you have great guests and great insights, and you can somehow hint people for these insights, that would be great.
Thank you. Thank you.